Kesha Nichols, Richard Jefferson. A beautiful couple. She, a basketball sideline dancer. He, a basketball star.
Jefferson!
They met, fell in love, traveled the world. He proposed. The wedding was said to be a lavish affair in New York City's Mandarin Oriental. What we read in the papers next was unimaginable, that he had broken up by email, didn't notify guests. A $2 million wedding was wasted? What really happened inside this broken relationship? It reminded us of the heartbreak we've seen before. Nicole Cantos, in her wedding gown, outside, waiting to walk up the aisle. Word comes from the best man that the groom is on a plane to London.
Are you not call earlier today?
Her family, not pleased.
Where the hell have you been all day?
Why? What's wrong? What's wrong?
But all we know this morning in the case of Kesha Nichols and Richard Jefferson is what he said in a call to Howard Stern.
We had broken up and gotten back together so many times that I didn't want to make this decision and then 2 days later say, okay, look, I'm sorry. It was a decision that I had to make and stick by it.
What we've not heard is her side of the story until now. And Kesha Nichols joins us this morning, and it's good to have you here.
Thank you. Good morning.
You said something, I was telling you earlier, that made me stop. You said, when you're heartbroken, just dance. Dance again. You're going to be fine.
Yes, ma'am. That's my philosophy. Just keep dancing through life. No matter what you're handed, just pick up the pieces and keep going and just keep dancing.
And the biggest lesson you've learned, you can't love someone into loving you back.
Yes. They were talking about how much was spent on the wedding and all the lavish things that were involved, but to me the number one thing was marrying the person that I was in love with. And, I was preparing my life to be with this person forever.
Well, 4 days before the wedding, 4 days it was?
5 days.
5 days
Yes.
before the wedding. You do get an email from him, but you want everybody to know that this had been a troubled weekend. It had been an off and on again weekend.
Yes.
And it wasn't entirely a surprise to you?
No, it wasn't just a troubled weekend. It was a month of 4 funerals that we had to attend between our 2 families and wedding showers and traveling back and forth. But it just all came to a head that weekend, and we had the discussion on Sunday night, and I flew back to New York, and he just confirmed in an email what we had both spoken about the night before.
And then did you talk?
After the email, we did talk for a few hours and, just made sure that we were both at peace with what was going to happen. And, I'll always care about him. He was my best friend for 5 years, so I have no hard feelings towards Richard at all.
Still in that moment, a lot of suffering?
Definitely. I mean, I lived every girl's worst nightmare out in front of the world, and my heart was broken, and it still is, and I'm going to miss him as a friend. But I'm a thriving New Yorker. I've been here for 7 years. I had a life before I was with Richard, and I'll have a life after.
There are all these practical questions I wondered about. I mean, in fact, it was like a $500,000 wedding. That's a big, fancy wedding, and 70% of the money is lost. Is this your money lost? I mean, what do you do about what you've invested in it?
Well, you're under contract when you plan any event in New York, so everything was pretty much paid for, and I had about 50 family members that still came to New York to be with me in my time of sorrow. So we still gathered at the Mandarin and had dinner and had a life celebration, and I was just surrounded by the people that love me, and we laughed and cried together.
Did you lose a lot of money in this?
I've lost a lot of money over the years just for being with Richard and being away from my career opportunities and away from New York where my dance company is.
He did give you some money. He has given you money as a kind of, compensation for the fact that you dropped your career and moved to be with him?
Yes, he understands, and we've spoken many times, to be with someone that's in the spotlight, that's an athlete, you have to be where they are. So for the last few years, I've been living, sleeping, and breathing this relationship and nurturing my relationship with Richard, which took me away from career opportunities and chances to make money on my own.
What about the dress?
Well, I never saw the finished product. I was supposed to have my final fitting on Monday before the wedding. It's an amazing, beautiful dress. Guillermo designed it for me, but I have not seen the dress and probably never will.
Really? You're just going to let it sit there?
I'm going to let it sit there. I probably will never wear it. So It's a bad thing that Guillermo's beautiful creation won't be seen, but you know, maybe something will happen. We'll sell it one day or something like that.
And
I'm
the
not
ring,
sure.
the engagement ring?
The ring is mine. The ring was a gift, and my grandparents have it in North Carolina right now.
Now again, you said your friends came in anyway.
Yes.
They knew, your family and friends knew, but they came in.
Everyone knew
celebrate.
on Monday.
What did you say to each other at this party, this life celebration party, as you called it?
Well, my best friends that were there from kindergarten up until, you know, the last few years, girls that I've met that are like family, you know, a lot of them couldn't really even look at me without crying. Their heart was breaking for me, but, you know, they were also there to entertain me, and laughter through tears is my favorite emotion, and I just wanted to be around the people that love me the most.
Hard every morning, though, when you wake up?
It's getting easier. It's actually getting easier because I can see past the tragedy, and I just see that so many things are going to open up for me, and I'm just open to the universe and whatever opportunities come next.
Have you talked to him since all this?
I have not. One thing that we agreed on if we called off the wedding was that he would not call me and let me have this time on my own to, you know, just start over and not have him in my life and not have him change his mind and say, okay, let's get back together. You know, it was a final decision, and he stuck to his word. So I haven't spoken to him in 2 weeks and 2 days.
Angry?
Not angry at all. Honestly, Richard did not do this to me. He did it for me. He cared enough about me to realize that this was not the relationship that we both needed to be in. And as a friend, as someone that he's been close to for 5 years, he realized that, and he was just the one to verbalize what we both knew in our hearts.
Well, again, thank you for coming in. We read all about it in all of those newspapers,
Yes.
and now we know what you were really thinking, what was in your heart.
Perfect. Thank you so
And
much.
good luck. Let us know the next chapter.
Okay, I will for sure.
All right.